do this talk after that.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon again. We are giving it just a minute more. Many of the participants didn't realize that we didn't communicate that the link required they registered. So we are assuming some of them are now registering to get access to the meeting. So just one more minute and then we'll start. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this info section on the AICCRA program, Accelerator Consortia program. So this afternoon, we have a very straightforward and relatively short but quite informative program. After setting this scene and giving you an overview of the program, the cluster lead, Ghislaine Tepayoto, would give us an introduction of the AICCRA project. He would highlight the goals, the partners involved in the project, and some of the innovations we have scaled in the last 3 years and some achievements that we have made. Afterwards, we would zoom straight into today's main business with a presentation from Sander on the Accelerator Consortia program. He will highlight what the program is and how we intend to go about the program. We hope that we would have a question and answer session where we would have a lot of engagement with the participants to clarify what the program itself is about. Then afterwards, we would invite the thematic leads. We have 4 main bundles, thematic bundles of climate smart bundled solutions that we are hoping to scale within the AICCRA project. And so we would invite the thematic leads who are Patricia Mankwayeboa, co-leading with Abera Uletawu, who is not here presently, Stephen Yeboah, Sanda again, and then Ghislaine to also highlight the 4 thematic bundles that we are going to scale. Then we'd have another discussion section with the participants to really dive deep into the bundles. And then would communicate the next steps after today's info section, and then would invite the cluster lead again to give the closing remarks after discussing the next steps. So without much ado, I would invite the cluster lead to start the presentation of an overview of the AICCRA program in Ghana. Tepa, please.
Thanks very much, Faustina, and welcome to everyone. Some of you, I believe, know already the AICCRA project, but for those who don't know, this is a commitment of the World Bank to support the CGR work and ensure that whatever research and innovation that is generated by the CGR reaches farmers on the ground in 6 countries. So those countries are Senegal, Mali, Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Zambia. So it's happening actually at continental level. But apart from country clusters, we also have regional clusters, one in West Africa and another one for East and Southern Africa. So the regional clusters ensure spillover effects in other countries that are not listed here. So the project is constructed around 3 main pillars. The first one is about knowledge generation and services sharing, meaning that whatever decision-making tools that are generated by CGR and partner can reach next users, but also end users on the ground to make use of those tools and take the right decisions in the face of now that we have climate affecting and causing significant impact into our farming communities. The second component is about partnership. The scaling work that the project is about cannot really be successful. We cannot achieve that without partnering with some strategic organizations to ensure that climate smart agriculture and climate information services reach project beneficiaries on the ground. And the whole project is really about scaling climate smart agriculture and climate information services. And the approach that we have been using to make that happen is really through the demo plots on the ground, where we promote some of the key technologies that really have been prioritized by some key stakeholders here in Ghana to make sure that these technologies and innovations reach farmers. So it is approved by the World Bank that we'll be accessing some additional financing for this year and for next year. So we are gearing up to really continue the efforts that we have started for now 3 years, and want to continue these efforts, making sure that we onboard some of the important partners to help us really scale out climate smart agricultural technologies and climate information services. Next, please. So I mentioned partnership is really key to the success of this. For the past 3 years, we have been working with a few organizations here in Ghana, Crops Research Institute, that is supporting really piloting on the ground. The Institute for Scientific and Technological Information, CSRI, INSTI, who is leading new development in terms of now Ghana putting together an agri innovation data hub. So the hub is hosted at INSTI, and we believe this is a tool that will really play a key role in terms of reaching farmers on the ground through some extension modules. We also have Ghana Meteorological Agency on board in terms of generating climate information services and supporting the dissemination of that climate information services on the ground, linking up with the private sector companies. We have MOFA, and particularly working with the Plant Protection Regulatory Services Directorate, PPRST, and also Bunari Biotechnologies and Nuclear Agricultural Research Institute, who are supporting the work around really mobilizing technologies and innovations to tackle pests and diseases issues in our farming systems under a One Health approach. And then University of Development Studies with the capacity development elements of the project. The private company that we have engaged so far is SOCO, who was helping in terms of really disseminating climate information services in our target communities. And then Farm Radio International was really strategic in terms of deploying some radio programs in our communities to really broadcast some of the advisories, climate smart agriculture advisories, and climate information services to make sure that communities have access to those tools. So we operate in 6 regions: Greater Accra, Central, Bono East, Northern, Upper East, and Upper West. For the past 3 years, we were active in 20 communities inside those regions. And for the additional financing phase this year and next year, we are targeting 45 communities, working on maize, cowpea, yam, sweet potato, groundnut, and vegetable value chains. So what we did so far, I'm not going into the details, but the project really involved a lot of capacitation work to make sure that the partners understand the content of climate smart agriculture and climate information services, and therefore support the implementation of climate smart agriculture, and help also beneficiaries on the ground to really interpret climate information services and take the right decision. Next, please. Yeah, we also use this knowledge generated by CGR partners to co-develop what we call an early warning and rapid response system for climate-driven pests and diseases. So this work is led by PPRST and Bunari. Next. Okay, I mentioned the Ag Innovation Data Hub that is led by CSR Insti. There is a memorandum of understanding that is signed for Insti now to host the tool and make sure that they really have access to those important data that can be translated in something that is useful by decision makers and also extension agents and farmers on the ground. And we are supporting development around the national framework of climate services that is led by Ghana Met. And for that, we have had a really fruitful collaboration with USAID, PolicyLink, and TAM. Next. So the core of our activities is really to get innovations and climate information services into the hands of farmers in our target communities. And this is, in essence, one of the reasons why we have called for this meeting to really explain the approach that we'll be using to get those innovations and climate informations into the hands of farmers through the Accelerator program. Next, please. Okay, so we have gender elements in the into the core of the projects, and we have a target of reaching 40% of women on the ground. So whatever technologies or innovations that you disseminate, make sure that 40% of women have access of it. I want to finish by again thanking everyone. The project is all about improving on access and use of climate smart agriculture innovations and climate information services in our target communities. And we will live through the Accelerator program. We'll be able to reach millions of farmers with the edge of private company. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tepayuto, for setting the scene on what the AICCRA project is about, highlighting the partners and some of the gains we have made in the last 3 years, and also giving us a forward-looking outlook on the work that is ahead of us. So if you have any clarifications that you would need, please keep it in the chat. After the next presentation, we'll take all the questions and delve deeper into the discussions. So I would invite Sanda to now take us through the Accelerator consortia program that we are hoping to kick off in Ghana. Sanda, over to you.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to everyone for joining. I've seen in the participants there's a large number of people there, and that is fantastic. So Tepa, the project lead, has given us an overview of what the project looks like, and I understand it will still be a bit vague. And as said, you can put your questions in the chat if you want any clarifications on the project. But my task is now to bring it down to actually what you came for, and that is the Accelerator program that we are starting up in Ghana this year. I think it's a very exciting program. It offers a lot of opportunities. Already we have seen, there's a huge amount of knowledge within our research centers that are part of this program, and we're really searching a very strong collaboration with the private sector to develop inclusive business plans that can help to get these technologies to the farmers and for the companies to make a profit out of it. Next, please. Yes. So let me start very upfront. You know what we want with the program and what we can offer. This is not a new thing. It has been done, and Tepa explained it in different countries. This project, and in Zambia, they have developed this Accelerator program, and they've been successful in reaching, and not only reaching, but also that the smallholder farmers use the technologies that we have proposed. And the donor has asked us to expand this program to other countries, and that is one of the reasons that we are here. So how it works? We aim to impact 300,000 beneficiaries in the coming 2 years. And that is with this additional finance that we have received. And we have developed 4 bundles, and I will show them in the next slide, that we think have a large opportunity in Ghana. What we can reward is to a consortium of companies, or maybe companies together with NGOs, or maybe in certain cases with a research institute, a grant of $50,000. And that is for the successful consortium that writes an inclusive business plan, you know, that will ensure the scaling of these technologies to the farmers and having impact at that scale. Maybe you can go to the next slide. So these are the four bundles that we are proposing. On top, you see the logos of the institutes that lead this bundle, and that will be the technical assistance during the implementation of this program. So you see IITA, the Institute of Tropical Agriculture, who is leading this program in Ghana. They've proposed a bundle on climate smart integrated pest management. Don't ask me for the details. I know very little about it, but after my presentation, there will be presentations from each of these to give more details on these bundles. So my name is Sander Zwart. I work for the International Water Management Institute based here in Accra, and we are proposing a bundle that targets solar irrigation for female farmers. So we're looking really at the smallholder farmers and notably the female farmers, because they have extra challenges to install solar irrigation on their farms. CSIR is proposing smart seeds and market systems. And then finally, the Alliance for Biodiversity and SEAT, ABC, they are proposing smart production and soils, and they will explain later on in the slides more details on this. Can you go to the next? Yeah, and on this slide, I will talk a bit longer, because this explains how the process will be implemented, and it also explains what you can expect, you know, and what you have to adhere to during this whole process. The first phase is an info session, so we have worked out the terms of reference for each of the proposed bundles. They will be shared with you, and we have this meeting as a first way of engaging with the private sector, and to explain the whole process, what I'm doing here, but also the bundles that we will try to target. Then in July next month, we will organize a matchmaking dialogue. So what we propose is that companies don't work in isolation on scaling certain bundles. We know that the farmers are faced with multiple problems, and the solution is often not technological, right? So the technology can be part of the solution, but often the farmers face other issues like having access to finance. For example, we know that solar irrigation is quite expensive, very profitable, but expensive to invest in. So how can we work with microcredit organization, for example, or maybe agriculture insurance? So how do we create these consortia? And of course, I know that you are very well informed who works in your domain. But in certain cases, you know, you may not be aware of certain other partners, potential partners with whom you can work. And for that, we will organize in July an in-person matchmaking dialogue event, where you can present your company and liaise with other companies and try to see if you can jointly develop a proposal for this program. 1st of July, so that's next Monday, we will open the call for applications. So for all of those that have registered and that are here online, we will share the call, and you can go to the website, get all the detailed information on the requirements and the next steps. The call will close August 28, and then by then we hope to have received your proposals. And during this process, all the time we are available. So that is all these organizations from which you saw the logos. We are available to provide more details and to assist you in developing these proposals. Once we have the proposals, we will select the best ones. We have the criteria, and also these criteria will be published in the call. And based on these criteria, we will have a transparency process to select the best proposals, and we will invite them to develop the full inclusive business plan. So inclusive in the sense that it should target, it should help us to reach the target. So the smallholder farmers, and of which at least 40%, if I'm right, the female farmers. So how can you do that? How can you bring technologies, services together to achieve this, and with whom would you like to work? Well, that is a period of about 3 months, and each of the winning proposals will also receive this technical assistance from us to develop these business plans. I will get back to that later. And then the fifth phase is the real implementation. So once we have settled all the contractual agreements, we will start the full implementation on January 1. It will be a full year that you have the chance to use your grant and to as a de-risking grant, and to make it work in practice, and to get that experience, and to assess also the impact of your work. And lastly, it's an investors forum. So we don't want to leave you there with an implementation and a good experience, but we also want to guide you in attracting additional finance for your work, additional investments. So for sure, we will organize an investors forum where we'll invite funding organizations and where you have the chance to showcase your work, the impact that you have reached, how you work, and what kind of additional investments you need to scale it up further in Ghana and maybe even outside Ghana. So that is, in a nutshell, the different phases. Faustina, I hope you can share also this presentation after the meeting with all the participants that have registered, so that you can look back into it. Again, if you have questions, put them in the chat, and after my presentation, we will be able to address them. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, so again, what do we offer to the winners? I already told you, it will be a scaling grant. So if you're successful, there will be a scaling grant waiting for you to help to support the implementation of your business plan in the first year. But what is very important, I want to stress that it is not that we give you the grant and then it's over, right? So during the whole process, starting from today until the end of the process, the end of the 2 years, there will be technical assistance offered by the team of researchers and implementers from our consortium, our project, AICCRA. What is important, we have a lot of scientific knowledge on the technologies. So improved seed, the solar irrigation, for example, the no tillage or the tillage option, mechanization options, soil fertility options. So all these kind of things that will be presented by the others after my presentation. We have that knowledge in-house, and it's up to you to get it out of us, and we will try to push it to you, because we think it is promising. We believe that these technologies can help farmers improve their cultivation, improve their yields, and also reduce post-harvest losses, etc. But we also realize that the technology is not the only solution. It comes with the services of finance, of agriculture insurance, digital services to connect farmers to the markets, and so on. So we'll assist you with that. We will assist you with developing inclusive business plans. We will assess the scaling readiness, as we call it. So how far are these technologies? How far is the solution that you propose, and can it really be scaled? Are there still bottlenecks for farmers to adopt the service that you offer? We'll offer technical support during the implementation. So once you bring it into reality, your business plan, also there we can provide technical support. We will help you with the monitoring and evaluation of the impact. That is not only important for us as a project, but it's also important, not in the last place for yourself, but also for donors, for example, or potential investors. They want to know what they can get if they invest a certain amount in your company or in your consortium. And lastly, I already mentioned that those are the investment opportunities that we will actively provide support with. Can you go to the next? So let me just give you 2 slides, and those are my last 2 slides. I don't want to take you too long, and I'm sure that you have questions after this presentation, and we have ample of time to answer your questions. But let me just give you an example of that example of Zambia, where the AICCRA program has implemented Accelerator program, and they were successful in developing 5 consortia. 4 were rather on technology, and 1 was more on the GC approaches, so the gender and social inclusion approaches. In total, there were 12 agribusinesses that were partnering in 5 different consortia, and they are now actually delivering services to the farmers. And even though the program has ended there, they continue doing so. So it's a very sustainable manner. Can you go to the next one? Yeah, and let me then give this example just for you to get an idea on how it could work like. This is a bundle on solar irrigation. I have to say that's a bit more my specialty, so that's why I chose this example. Solar irrigation is complex, right? It is beautiful. If it's on your farm, you have great chance of becoming a very profitable farmer. But it's also known that the knowledge of it, but also the investment that you need, they are challenges for the smallholder farmers. Maybe not so much for the medium farmers and the large farmers, but for the smallholder farmers, these are tremendous investments. I was compared, like if you look at their annual salary and you compare it with your own, and then you see that amount that they have to borrow, to invest in irrigation, that you can compare that to getting a loan for a house, a good house in Ghana. So for them, it's a tremendous amount of money, tremendous investment. But these companies, they also participated in these meetings. They also participated in the matchmaking meetings, and they were sitting together and they developed this service. So Future Pump is an asset provider. So they are just a technology provider. They sell pumps. They sell the solar systems, the irrigation. But again, it doesn't only come with the technology. So there's a company, Lupia Borrow Invest. It's an online marketplace for microloans. So they provide these digital services to get microloans. And there are 2 companies that provide the climate information services, which are important for managing your irrigation efficiently, but also for the leasing and payment solution. So that is more the technical aspects of leasing and paying. So these 4 companies, they came together. They developed a proposal. They were selected. They were selected in this competitive process, and they have thereafter developed a business plan, and that is what they are currently implementing. So each of these companies has a different specialty. As I said, one is a technology provider, the other is more on the finance, the climate information services, and they've jointly said we want to offer this service. So in this case, for example, also maybe an agriculture insurance company would have been interested to join, or maybe that's interesting for Ghana. Of course, giving a loan to smaller farmers with often no assets, that is high risk. But if there's agricultural insurance for the farmer, that is part of the package, then you reduce that risk for the company that is providing the fund, the loan to the farmer. So these are the kind of different options, and we invite you to be creative, to think along, and not to think in your silo like I have a technology or I can do this, but to think, okay, but what are the challenges of the farmer? What are they faced with, and how can I join with other companies to develop a joint service, where the farmer gets the economic advice, the climate information services, access to the funding, access to the specific technologies, so that the farmer has a full package and can then safely borrow funds to invest in his or her farm. So I think this is my last slide. I think, Faustina, we go straight to questions and answers, right?
Yes.
To myself and to Teppa.
Yes, and indeed other members of the team. So I will stop sharing my screen here, and then we can engage in some discussions on the AICCRA project, but also the consortia program, the grant program, if there are any discussions and clarifications that participants need at this stage before we go into the thematic bundles. So the bundles are the solutions that we are proposing, but the approach to scaling the solutions is what Sanda had just explained. So please, if you have any question, you can raise your hand and then ask your question.
Relatively, you can also, if you don't want to talk, you can also type the question in the chat, and then it's either is fine.
Okay. Should we assume that everything is so clear at this stage? Once there are no hands up. Okay, so maybe the questions would come after the presentation of the various bundles. So we are going to zoom into the thematic bundles that we are proposing to scale within the consortia program. So I would invite the leads of the thematic bundles, starting from Patricia Mankwayeboa, to give us an overview of the bundle that's the Alliance of Biodiversity and SEAT in partnership with Crop Research Institute is leading. So Patricia.
Thank you very much, Faustina, and good afternoon to everybody. The name of the thematic bundle is Smart Production and Soils, and this is being led by the Alliance of Biodiversity and SEAT, and being supported by the CSIR Crop Research Institute. Next slide, please. So what exactly does this bundle intend to address? We are looking at two things. We are looking at agro advisories, and we are looking at mechanization to make our cropping systems or farming smart. In terms of the agro advisories, most of the challenge is with the fact that most of our farmers are relying on their own knowledge, say indigenous knowledge, in making decisions or taking decisions concerning farming activities or on-field activities. So most of these times they end up not having the technical know-how or climate information to back up with their decision. So there is a decision gap with regards to technology. Now, what they would do, though they would plant, you can see the first picture there that is showing a dried field. They may plant with the intention or knowing that there may be rains, but along the line, they can hit dry spells and not know what to do with that. And for those farmers that don't have any insurance in terms of irrigation or any other thing, they are going to lose the crop totally. For others, they can plant well, but then when and how to apply fertilizers and do other on-farm activities become a challenge. So the when for the crop season, most often they will go in to apply the fertilizer when they have access to that. So they don't actually plan that, okay, I'm going to do this at this particular time, but as and when they get access to these fertilizers, that is when they go in to apply the fertilizer. And how to even apply the fertilizer is also a challenge. Now, most of our farmers, when they are hit with these spells, don't even know what to do. So there is a gap in terms of capacity and knowledge that we are looking at extending to these farmers, and other things as well with regards to the agro advisories. Now we come to the smart farming. All these activities that I have already talked about can be made smart when we employ the use of mechanization, but we should also be doing it right. Now, the framework for sustainable agricultural mechanization in Africa that has been developed by the FAO is actually advising that if we are promoting mechanization services to farmers, then we should also promote sustainable agricultural mechanization. For instance, if we look at the picture that we have over there with the plow, a tractor that is plowing the land, this land is so dry that there is a lot of dust. What it means is that after this kind of plowing, if any rain should fall, you are going to get a lot of the topsoils being eroded away, leaving soils that are deprived of nutrients for a farmer to be using for cultivation. Now, the next picture there shows a very deprived crop that is stressing on a field that has been plowed. And then with the consistent plowing, you are going to get a lot of erosion that can lead to that picture over there. So if we are doing the mechanization, which actually entails tillage and other farming practices, then we should do it right, and hence the need for sustainable agricultural mechanization. In all of this, the mechanization becomes an enabler to the advisories that we are giving these farmers. So the core of this bundle is the advisories to farmers. And how are we delivering on these advisories? So we are looking at climate information services, linking up with other partners on this call. For instance, like GMET, getting the seasonal forecast, and we have listed a few of the itemized ones that we would need. And what do we intend to do? We are developing this into an agro advisory. So if we are getting the seasonal forecast, say our cropping season is going to be 60 days or 90 days, let's take it 90 days to the max. Then what kind of crop can you grow within that 90 days? That will give you much benefit. Can you change your crop? Can you change the variety? Can you change your farming practice or anything along that chain to give you the most benefits should anything happen? And then we want to do, these are all part of the climate smart advisories, but then of utmost importance is also the timing of these activities. So we want to link this up with the CIS to say that, okay, farmers can go in to plant at this time, you can prepare your land around this time, you can plant at this time, you can get this kind of seed that can go through the whole season and give you the most benefits. These are the times that you should apply your fertilizer. This is the amount of fertilizer that you can apply for these particular crops and in these particular areas. So that becomes the site-specific recommendations that we are talking about with regards to the fertilizer. There are additional information that will be given to the farmer, but of importance is these agro advisories. And then, just like I mentioned in the mechanization aspect, if we want to do mechanization, we should be doing it right, and that starts from tillage. So with tillage, we want to adopt the sustainable mechanization approach of tillage, where instead of plowing, we would rather advise the farmers to rip or rather trim their fields and reduce the amount of contact that or movement in the fields. And by so doing, this is a very good CSA practice. You are limiting the turnover in the soil, and in so doing, not exposing too much of the carbon to come out into the field. So there is a lot of carbon that will be sequestered by such fields, and you are not touching on all of these fields. So we are promoting these ripping as a sustainable mechanization approach for land preparation. Now, apart from the ripping, we want to see how best to make this farming smart. So once you have ripped your field, you can choose to have very simple farming equipment to do your planting. There are the roller planters, the jar planters, among others. You can employ the use of simple tools like the fertilizer applicator. Currently, there are some that are very simple backpack instead of the picture I showed of the woman that was applying fertilizer that has been put in a bucket. Here you can just load your fertilizer into a backpack and then walk through the field to apply in the absence of a mechanized fertilizer applicator, which eases the drudgery with these operations. And then there are in-row weeders that actually touches on the weeds within the rows and weed and kind of releases our labor, the labor involvement, the labor cost, the drudgery, and everything associated with that. We shouldn't forget the fact that most of these technologies or bundles that we are promoting are female friendly, women friendly, youth friendly. Anybody can use any of these tools to actually work on the field. Now, for the financial solutions, we are looking at credits and insurance provisions. So if we are able to take a farmer through this whole process, but in the eventuality that something happens, how does such a farmer recoup his or her losses? So we will be looking at getting partners that can deliver on this service, input credits. So for instance, land preparation, if a farmer wants to do sustainable agricultural mechanization, but doesn't have the kind of funds to engage these services, how can this farmer with this interest still gain on this front? So this is where we come in to look out for the financial solutions that can actually aid with these bundles that we want to promote to the farmers. At the end of the day, we don't want to leave the farmers. For instance, we said that we are doing the agro advisories. These agro advisories are supposed to advise the farmers on when to plant and all of those things. But we can also teach these farmers to read from the climate information that will be rolled out from this partnership. So if you are getting information on, say, onset of the season, what does that in effect tell you? So we are going to build capacities of these farmers across all the locations on some of these innovations, to be able to decipher some of this information that comes to them, to be able to do these things on their own and implement them on their fields, and in also taking up these capacities, build the capacities of other farmers along the value chain, and then scale out these technologies far and wide. Next, please. So our target value chain is maize and cowpea, and we are actually trying to roll out these bundles in the northern and savannah regions. So just like I said, you can see a woman on the tractor there. This is where we want to be. We are saying that it's gender friendly, only that most of our women and youth don't actually want to be seen in this area. I have shown some simple tools and equipment that becomes an enabler in our smart production and soils. So thank you very much, Faustina. I hand it over to you. Over.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for giving us an overview of the bundle that your team is co-leading with the Alliance of Biodiversity and SEAT. So I hope that if there are any questions, people are noting it down or they are keeping it in the chats with some clarifications on how they think this bundle can really come together in terms of disseminating the agro advisories, but also the actual innovations that are needed to really reach farmers to be able to take up this bundle. So next, I would invite Stephen Yaboa to speak on the bundle that his team is leading. Hello, Stephen. Are you with us?
Hello.
Yes. Oh, Richard, you are stepping in for Stephen.
Yes, please. I'm stepping in the very big shoes of Dr. Stephen Yabo.
Okay.
He's currently on the field. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Please
Good
go
afternoon,
ahead.
everyone, once again. Please. Our thematic area is a smart seed and market system for smallholder farmers, and CSIR Crop Research Institute is leading this in collaboration with IITA, PPRSD, Binary, and ABC. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so what's the problem here? Okay, I think it's very wide knowledge that productivity of farmers are mostly low in Ghana, and some of these things are attributed to unimproved seeds and low access to these improved ones, and also farmers relying heavily on using their local seeds that we say unimproved seeds. And seeds, what we all know, are very basic when it comes to farming, and also want to look at the market systems of the farmers to see how they can get advantage in the market system, and also see how we can bring in the financial support for farmers to help them uptake a lot of these technologies that we bring on board.
Hi, Richard. We are not able to hear you.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Hello, very, very sorry about that. Our light just went out in the office, so connected with my phone now, yeah. Yeah, so the thematic area, that's the smart seeds, the bundle element are 4, 5. We have the seeds, we have the climate information services, we have the climate smart agriculture, the marketing, and also the finance aspect. So, and the crops of interest here are maize and then cowpea. Most of the things in the maize and cowpea are similar, but then let me go through a few of them. So for the seeds, we are looking at scaling the climate smart seed varieties as improved varieties among farmers to discourage the use of local seeds. And when it comes to the climate information services, we're looking at bringing to the rest of farmers the seasonal forecast, the weekly rainfall, when to plant, when not to plant, and letting them know the actual things to do and plant to be able to get the productivity that they deserve. When it comes to the climate smart agriculture too, we're looking at introducing them to a lot of technologies, mechanization, like Dr. Amankwaiboa said. A lot of them are like the hand planters, the rollers, a lot of mechanization stuff, and a lot of agriculture smarter practices. And for the marketing, we're looking at a cooperative market model in both commodities. Here, we're looking at giving the farmers economies of scale to enable them negotiate better prices and also have the market power. So we want to promote that among the farmers too by letting them be abreast of the market system. And the finance, like Dr. Boa said again, these things, improve seeds and all these mechanization things mostly come with some cost associated with it. So it should be good to let the farmers lay hands on certain financial facilities that can help them uptake all these technologies and information services. Next slide, please. The next, please. Yeah, so these are the value chains that I talked about earlier. So divided into two, the maize and the cowpea. For the maize, we're looking at these regions, central region, Bono East, and the northern regions. And for the cowpea, we're looking at the central, Bono East, and the northern regions. Next slide, please. Okay, so to scale this important things, it's very important to bring in the private sector to help push this agenda. So I think that's the reason why this consortia is very important for the private sector to come on board and help push this climate smart farming services and climate smart agriculture technologies to our farmers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard, for stepping in the
I'm here. If you can hear me, I can do a summary.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, for the wonderful presentation. So, colleagues here, the story is told. This bundle is basically about seed technology in relation to maize and cowpea. And we are referring to this seed technology as smart seed because we want seeds with trace of climate smartness in terms of drought tolerance, in terms of some pest and disease tolerance. And then we also are interested in nutritional composition of some of the seeds. So we talk about biofortified seed, also for nutritional benefits. So the thematic area is hinged on seed technology, and then it comes along with other associated practices. And they are those that Rich, my colleague, mentioned, like providing climate information services, seasonal forecast information, onset, cessation, cropping period, total rainfall amount. These are very important in building or in enabling a higher impact of the seed technology. Then we all are aware of the market situation. So you can't support somebody to produce or to increase productivity without providing a market access or market information. So this bundle also have a market component where we envisage that through our private sector partnership, we'll be able to develop a market model to support the promotion of the seed technology. Then it comes along with the financial system, because we need to sustain the operation of the whole bundle. So we have in existence such systems like village savings and loans, but together with the private sector partners, we can also develop a financial model. There are several of them around. So depending on the operational area and the commodity, we can fashion out a financial model that will help us scale up this bundle. So in brief, this is what we intend to do, and we welcome people to the matchmaking event and see how we can advance this agenda. Thank you very much, and thank you, Richard, for the wonderful presentation. Over for you.
Thank you, Richard, for stepping in the big shoes, and thank you, Stephen, for getting back in the very big shoes. So thank you so much, Crop Research Institute, for highlighting what the Smart Seed and Market Systems bundle really entails. So I would invite Sanda again to give an overview of the bundle that the International Water Management Institute is proposing. So Sanda, over to you.
Hello, I have a question for the last speaker from CSIR. Can I ask the question?
Yes, please.
My name is Kwesi Asiedu. I'm a participant from Trotro Tractor, and I wanted to find out whether or not the crops and the seeds that CSIR provide are genetically modified seeds.
Okay, thank you. So we will note your question, and then at the end of this overview, Crop Research would come in and then answer the question.
Thank you.
I hope you would stay till the end of the program so that your question will be addressed. Thank you for coming. Okay, Sanda, please go ahead.
Yeah, if you can go to the next slides. Yeah, I think one more. Yeah, very good. So I already talked in the beginning to explain this accelerated program, and I already talked shortly on irrigation. We know that, of course, farmers in northern Ghana, even southern Ghana, they face challenges with water, and that is not going to be improving in the coming decades with in the light of climate change. Also, if you ask farmers, what is your major challenge? Usually it is too little water or too much water. And we know that access to irrigation water is actually very profitable if you do it well. But it's not for everyone. So sometimes, in certain cases, of course, it's the physical conditions where the farmer are not suitable for irrigation. But if conditions are suitable, then still it's a very large investment for farmers to invest. So how can we do that? And we know that finance is an issue. Sometimes also access to the technologies, the technology providers, that farmers do not know where to buy it or what to buy, or they are not sure that if they invest, that it will be profitable. So it's also the access to knowledge. So you can have your equipment, but then still, farming is an art, but irrigating correctly is also an art. So how to do it correctly? Well, we know that also, of course, these general challenges are faced by both male and female farmers, but there are also challenges that are more women specific. smallholders generally have less access to land, but I would say that female farmers that have even less access to land. There are also income disparities. Usually cash crops and everything that is managed by the male farmers, and female farmers are usually on the bulk crops, rice cultivation, etc. So that also generates a difference in income and a difference in available resources, financial resources to invest. Finance solutions are not tailored to the situation of female farmers. In general, maybe there are some products, and we're very keen to learn about that. If there are microfinance organizations, for example, that have loans that are addressing specifically women, we invite them to join consortia. And there's also a strong dependency on others for technical assistance, but also, for example, for the maintenance of the pumps. These are the challenges faced. So let's have a look at the solutions. This is not new. It's also not very specific, maybe as specific as the others have presented. So our goal in this bundle would be to have solar irrigation solutions. We know that solar irrigation has become cheaper and cheaper in the last years, and it's even becoming less expensive with the cost of the solar panels going down, but also the pumps. Challenges, of course, the access to the financial services. So it's a huge investment for a farmer to do on his or her land. So how can we assist a farmer, create an enabling environment that farmers can have access to microcredits, or that there are maybe payment schemes that come with it by the company that provides the technologies. I mentioned agriculture insurance can be part of this bundle, in principle to lower the risk of the provider of the loan or the financing scheme, but also for the farmers themselves, of course. I mean, usually farmers can pay back after 4 or 5 harvests the entire investment, but if there is a challenge, for example, with pests or diseases during a season and there's no income, you know, then an agricultural insurance can provide the backup. Access to agriculture input and output markets. Farmers, even if they do everything well, in certain cases they can't sell their produce because there is no one to buy it from them. We know that there are many digital services. Ghana is one of the front runners in terms of digital agriculture in Africa. Other countries are, for example, Kenya, where there's a lot of services, but Ghana is really one of the most advanced countries. So how can they play a role in linking the farmers to the markets in terms of the inputs, but also selling their produce? A solution. No, so just one more thing. A solution does not have to include everything. You know, what is important is that, of course, there is the solar irrigation technology as a solution, but the other services that come with it, that depends on the consortium on what they think is important. So we don't prescribe that all this has to go in there, but these are the kind of solutions that we are thinking of. Next one. Yeah, we know that investment in solar irrigation can lead up to 4 harvests per year. That's what we've seen. So they have a rain-fed crop normally, but with irrigation you can do a short season leafy vegetable, then a cash crop like pepper, another leafy vegetable before you start again on the rain-fed crop. This is a top example. So, but it means that the farmer can harvest 4 times per year and has a continuous cash flow. So we target mixed farming systems. Of course, irrigation, you don't do it for one crop, but you do it for all crops. Even the rain-fed crop, if there's a drought spell, you know, you can do supplementary irrigation. But of course, it should include a cash crop like a vegetable. In principle, we target the northern regions in Ghana. We know that there's a lot of irrigation in the northeast region, so there's a lot of potential there to introduce a service to expand that even further, but maybe also other regions where there is a potential. So this is a short introduction, and we're happy to answer any questions from the participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanda, for giving us an overview of the bundle that IWMI is proposing. So I would next I would invite Ghislaine Tapayoto again to give an overview of the bundle that IITA is leading in partnership with some national organizations.
Thanks, Faustina. Next slide. The name of the bundle is Climate Smart Integrated Pest Management. We are putting this together in collaboration with PPRSD and BNARI. ITA is leading with the support of those two organizations. Next. So look at this. Pest resurgence and invasion have really been on the increase the past years in the continent, but also particularly in Ghana. And they really cause serious havoc. They can cause you to lose your whole crop in the season. So putting really farmers at risk. So we are developing this bundle to tackle really issues as related to pests and diseases, the resident communities of those pests and diseases that are already there, and the newcomers, the new species that are being accidentally introduced into our farming communities in our countries and on the African continent. Next, please. So in Ghana, we are looking for the Climate Smart IPM bundle on a few value chains. And the different element of that bundle includes climate information services and advisories in terms of farmers accessing seasonal forecasts to help them plan their cropping. And this will be associated with some advisories, example, weeding time, fertilizer application, pest alerts, and harvest time. So we believe these elements can really add value to some of those climate smart agriculture technologies that we want to focus on and that we believe have associated benefit into their contribution of achieving plant health. So we are looking at integrated soil fertility management in terms of smart use of mineral and organic fertilizers. We are looking at aflasafe to fight aflatoxins. And we also want biorational or cost-effective biopesticide to be part of this package of climate smart agriculture products that can really help tackle issues related to pests and diseases. So we really want the approach to be sustainable and avoid as much as possible the use of highly toxic chemicals, which will be really reinforced by the use of some of those climate smart agriculture elements like integrated soil fertility management that have plant health benefits to be part of this bundle in association with climate information services and advisories. We also look at some of those decision support tools to help farmers anticipate and do the scouting of their fields on a regular basis to detect as early as possible occurring pests and to take timely decisions to fight against those pests. My colleagues mentioned the access of finance product that is key for our farmers, and also the access to market information, because if you go for that sustainable approach of producing agricultural produce, this will make your system really and produces quality. So you will achieve quality, and of course there is a reward that is associated with this quality in terms of now you producing premium quality produces that a given market should be interested in. So receiving market information in line with what you have in terms of quality product is really key to help you really sell whatever you invest and achieve. Next, please. So that's the last slide. We are looking at really a consortium to really join forces in terms of now different private companies coming together to join forces, and based on the comparative advantages at the end of the day, provide that package of climate smart IPM into our focus regions and regarding our priority value chains. So the regions where we want this to be scaled out are central, Bono East and Northern regions for the maize value chain. And for tomato value chain, we have Greater Accra and Upper East region. So that's the end of Climate Smart IPM. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Tepa, for giving an overview of the bundle on Climate Smart IPM. So we have given an overview of the AICCRA project. We have also provided an overview of the consortia program and the 4 thematic bundles that we are proposing to scale with it through the consortia. So I'll stop sharing my screen here and now invite the participants into the discussion. I think the team from AICCRA has done a lot of talking over an hour and 15 minutes now. So the floor is open for clarifications all the way from the AICCRA program itself to the thematic bundles that are coming. But first, I would invite the team from Crop Research to answer the question that came from Mr. Esiedu on whether the smart seeds are GMO.
Hello,
Steven. Yes, Joseph.
We are not using any GMO products. These are products of varieties that are developed in Ghana here by the CSIR team and our partners from the SAR. So these are approved varieties registered in Ghana. Non-GMO products are being promoted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And then if I may add, can I add this?
Yes,
so
please.
We also plan to promote aggressively what people call local hybrids or local OPVs. So that's the strategy. We want to support local industries to grow. They want to also support local research to also develop. So these are not GMO related, like my colleague said. And apart from that, we want to actively support promotion of what we have also developed in our country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I hope that clarifies it for you, Mr. Isiedu. Are there any more?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I
So,
just also want to, sorry, Faustina. This is Mustafa. I just also wanted to add that from our donor side, it's not a requirement. We are not expected to use any genetically modified seeds as part of this project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for the private sector actors here, we went round and then we combed through our network. So we had a few names that we invited based on your strategic positioning in some of the bundles and the innovations that we are scaling. So we really want to hear from you. These are the proposals that we are making. Do you think these bundles are feasible in terms of the content and the innovations that are in there, and whether the consortia approach that we are proposing, it's even feasible? We want to hear from you, or the value chains we are proposing for the various bundles as well. We really want to hear from you at this stage. Okay,
Hello?
so there's, yes,
Hello?
please go ahead. Yes, Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, I think from the seed side, I am a seed producer or a seed company, and we do a lot of hybrids from our institutions, and I think what have been proposed is good. And during the work, some of the informations we've gathered, like cowpea. This year I've already harvested cowpea twice, even though the rains were not good. Some of those indicators we can share with the team, and they can show other people to get it. So I think some of us are ready. MMB is ready to partner. We've been partnering with Stephen Crop Research all the time, with Sari. So I think everything is okay. It looks good. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. So there is a clarification that probably is needed from Sanda or other members of the team, that can a consortium present an integrated proposal for the 4 bundles, or the proposal should focus on one?
No, the proposal should focus on one bundle. It is not forbidden to as a company to participate in different bundles. So if you provide services that can be used in one or two or even all the bundles, no issue for that. But the proposal that you write is for one of the 4 bundles.
Okay. So I hope that clarifies it. So a consortia ideally should submit a proposal for one bundle, but one company can be in multiple consortia if the company has solution that is really relevant for each of the consortia or each of the bundle. Emmanuel, please.
Maybe just to add to that, if a company thinks that they can offer all services by themselves, you don't need to form a consortium.
Okay,
So
thank you.
So if you do multiple things, you offer finance, you offer the technologies, you offer market access or something, and you think you can do everything by yourself to scale the service to a farmer, then we're also open to that.
Okay, great. So Emmanuel, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Emmanuel Chireme.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Faustina. This is Gordon. I'm with Emmanuel, so we are joining, listening to you. Yeah, so I have one has been already been asked if one organization can partner and then do everything. So that has been taken. My other one is to do with the timely information gathering, especially the pests and diseases. I want to know, because if you are getting it from a source and the information don't come fast, you will not be able to also disseminate it fast. So I want to know how, is it something that our sources are going to give us information already on a server that we are going to pick, or that will be manual? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think I would invite the thematic leads, especially Dr. Tepayoto. How does that information come in? Is it part of the technical assistance that the project would provide for the consortia?
Exactly. So, I mean, we are not leaving the bundles like this into the hands of the consortium and say, look, go and scale out everything there without further support. There should be really a technical backstopping, a kind of support that really helps the consortium to achieve the desired effects. So that's why we are partnering with some of those key organizations like PPRSD and Bunare to make sure that any relevant information or advisory that is needed and is part of the bundle, to make sure that those information and tools reaches the consortium at the right time to enable them to do the work to achieve the desired outcomes.
Thank you. Are there any more questions from the team, the participants here? I also have a question for the participants. I mean, especially those who have been working on the ground, scaling innovations. Are we working on the right value chains with our bundles? Yes, Abdul Malik, please.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. So I am Abdul Malik Baima. I work with an input credit company known as AICCRA Ghana Limited. We operate in the northern regions, basically. So Savannah, northern, northeast, and then upper west. Yeah. So for me, in terms of the value chains, I would like to question why cowpea in addition to maize rather than soybean. Because in recent times, the drive has been towards soybean and maize up north here.
Okay.
Can I take this one?
Yes, please.
Yeah. We are looking at synergies. Actually, we are not the only project operating on the ground. There are also other World Bank operations here in Ghana, like the FSRP, the Food System Resilience Program. So these are twin projects that talk to each other to ensure that we don't duplicate efforts. So FSRP will be focusing on soybean and some other value chains, and they also have the regions of interest, the communities of interest. So we are like talking to each other to ensure that we cover the whole country without, wasting resources and duplicating efforts. That's the reason why this specific project will now be focusing on soybean.
Thank you for that answer. Abdul Malik, do you have does that clarify things for you, or you have a follow-up?
Okay, that clarifies that for me, but maybe I have maybe a bit of a lengthy submission, something to throw in the up for all the presentations that were made?
Please do.
So, yes, so for us as Vegas, we are doing a myriad of all what has been said here. So we are providing the input credit, we're providing agro advisory services, both physical and digital. We're looking at sustainability by rolling our farmers onto regenerative agriculture and conservation agricultural practices. And then we are also looking at what can we do to improve their access to inputs. And so generally, we would like to assess the inputs that we're buying and providing to farmers, and also listen to them in terms of what it is that they need, because this is an essential part of what we do. The success that we will have at the end of the season in terms of recovering our investment depends on the quality of the inputs that we give to the farmers. And so I think this is a great program that will help us to zero in on some of the things. I think that one of the key elements that is usually missing for the input credit schemes is the mechanization aspect. So it becomes very difficult to handle these different aspects together, even though we have been trying to, match up. But usually you realize that the production and the advisory side always takes the lead, so to speak, or always takes the chunk of our time in focusing on getting the farmers the inputs, getting them the right advisory and guidance to make sure that they are producing well. Because mechanization in itself is a whole other service that you need to think about. Like we are saying, what are you looking at? What will we be assessing even before we do the mechanization? The type of land, are we doing soil testing? Do we know the type of soil that we are going to work on? Which also comes back to feed into the fertilizer recommendation. Even though we are saying quality inputs, are we really giving them the right formulation? So for me, I think there's a lot to be discussed, and there's a lot of information that we could share that could help each and everyone here to solve a little facet of their own operation or whatever they aim to achieve at the end of the day. So for me, it has been a lot. I'm looking forward to another session like this where we can actually delve into the different thematic areas. I think this has been more or less introducing us to everything, but then delving into the different thematic areas and looking at the specifics of what can be done, what is already in place, and then how we can improve on what we're all doing.
Thank you, Abdul Malik. Thank you for the submission. And definitely, as Sanda highlighted, part of the process is to have an in-person meeting where we delve deeper into the thematic bundles, but also use the opportunity to match actors to really come together to develop a proposal that really presents a real solid business approach for scaling the bundle, or an entity that has a back-to-back solution that covers a bundle to really look at a business proposal for that. So we hope that you would attend the in-person matchmaking event as well that is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. I saw another hand. I think the person has lowered their hand. That was Fadlu Mashoud, or maybe he has gone off the line. Yes,
Yeah,
please,
I'm still here.
Yes, please, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to all participants. I think this discussion is actually very important, and it tells us well. There is no better time than this time. So listening to the presentations that we have taken, we are a company working in the area of water source development and solar irrigation. we look at actually the irrigation component of the fields. And we did a project similar to this last year under IUMI, but generally we were looking at the area of vegetables, which I think clearly is not part of this new project. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so I was looking at the experiences that we have gathered over the last 2 or 3 years. You see that mostly solar irrigation is tailored towards vegetables and not with maize and cowpea. In fact, if there are other experiences that other partners here can share, we would be very happy to learn from that. But basically, or mostly, the solar irrigation that has happened on this project over the years has looked more into vegetables. So we would like to actually check with other partners to see what is done in the area of maize. We know some are doing, but it's quite few. I don't know.
This is on the
Sander, yes, Sander
let me quickly
clarified.
I think I was quite clear in my presentation that we do target mixed farming systems and including vegetables. We know that farmers will not develop an expensive irrigation system in their farms to irrigate maize. Once you can irrigate maize, you can also irrigate many other crops in the off season. So vegetables are definitely included.
Okay. Thank you very much for that clarification. Yeah. So the second bit of the concern that I have is with regards to the financing bit of it. Again, it keeps coming, and I think in Sander's presentation, it featured clearly. And I was wondering whether between now and next couple of weeks, where we're going to have the face-to-face interaction, whether we'll be able to get other companies that are really into the financing to get them on board. Because ahead of the village savings and loans that was cited in one of the presentation, but then again, I'm a bit concerned because of the experience that we have had in the area of village savings and loans and sanitation, and the extent to which village savings and loans have impacted sanitation in the country. Here again, I just want to find out what the project has gathered, what village savings and loans has done, or the impact it has had in the area of agriculture. But based on our personal experiences, I think that it's important we scout for companies that do have funding and can support these local farmers, because it has been a challenge over and over and over. And I think we really need to look at that. One company that I can suggest, I don't know whether we have reached them, is a Vision Fund. I know they have done a lot in the area of microcredit for farmers. If we have not approached Vision Fund, I think this is just a suggestion. We can look into inviting them to join in this discussion. So these are the two concerns that I have. We are actually here a team. Greetings from Belinda, John, and then Michael. They are all with me here in the office, and then we are listening to you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Fadlu Mashood, for this submission. I think we would need to do more work, and thank you for already flagging Vision Fund for us. Thank you that if there are others that other partners on other participants on this call can also flag, we'll reach out to them, because key and an integral part of all these bundles is the financing solution to ensure that the bundles, right from the agro advisories to the the material innovations that are needed can reach farmers. So thank you for flagging that up. Later on, maybe we will just give a short overview of our experience with VSLAs, but then I would invite McNeil to come in with his submission. McNeil, please unmute.
Thank you, Faustina. Good afternoon to. Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so good afternoon to everyone. So I would like to take it from the last person that spoke on the VSLEs. I work with Access Bank, and I also sit with the women banking team under the retail department. We have had an experience working with some VSLEs in some parts of the north. We've had various challenges, and as part of it, I would like to know whether this program have taken into consideration, technologies, digital technology, because it's one of the areas where most of our challenges sprang from, because we don't have physical locations at where these VSLs are, and so we try to rely on digital technology to be able to render services to them. It has not been really smooth because of challenges with technology. Aside from that, again, because we don't have physical locations, we have to depend mostly on mobile money transactions linking to accounts for them to transact. And charges also have not been encouraging to them because of the charges that comes with the transactions. And so as we look at financing institutions that come into play, I think that we have to look at the partners that come into providing these services also for such programs, because of the intended value chain actors that we are looking at. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that submission. And I think one of the strategic actors we are hoping would be key in all these bundles also include those who have digital solutions that they can propose to manage the kinds of interactions, both financial and then input credit schemes that would be part of the consortia. I think we had some discussions whilst doing a needs assessment for a sustainable finance model. And we realized that indeed, if you were working with such large numbers of smallholders, you need some sort of digital solution to manage all the interactions that are happening between the companies and the farmers. So thank you for flagging that up with us. Yes, please, Walali.
Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me.
Your voice is quite faint. Good, it's now clear.
Is it better, please? All right.
Yes.
So just to appreciate the work that the CGR through this AICCRA program is executing. I want to commend the entire team for putting this whole climate bundle together. I believe that is the way we can help our food system. And so it is a step in the right direction. What I have is just maybe an observation which we can work at, or to see how best we can include, of course, collectively. And this is more to do with the market components of the interventions and value chains that we are focusing on. It will be good that for the selected value chains, as part of the engagement, we also do some mapping exercises to identify potential industries that these interventions can, especially for the value chains that we want to support farmers on, can be plugged into, because that also helps to create a more, holistic, look, and also sustainable intervention. It wasn't highlighted very much, but I think that there's work that we can do together to making that really stronger, and this could create a very sustainable, initiative beyond even the project. I think for me that's the key bit. The rest, I believe, as we move along, we can fine tune as in go into each individual packages. We can work very closely to supporting the teams, or either in consortiums, etc., to make this work. And so I'll pause here. Maybe there could be some initial remarks to it or response, but that's the bit I see not very strong in this whole engagement. We'll be happy to hear from the team.
Thank you for that submission, Walali. Any response from the team? We've definitely noted it down. We know that we really need to really comb more and identify a lot of the actors within the strategic value chains that we are working on. But we are also hoping to really rely on the wider network of the few of you that we have identified so far. So we are hoping that when we share the call with you or we publish it, you would also help us to further disseminate the call to reach more actors. And then our emails are also constantly open right from this meeting onwards. You can always send us an email highlighting a strategic actor that you are aware of that you think we are currently missing, and then we would happily integrate them into the consortia, the Accelerator program.
Maybe just a very quick remark on the last submission of Walali, but also the previous ones. Of course, we do not think that we know everything, right? You are from private sector, you know the business landscape much better than we do. So if you see opportunities like, as Walali mentioned, linking it to a larger industry, please make those suggestions. You can invite them to our matchmaking event. You can also say, well, we are going to develop a consortium with this company to ensure that there's access to market for the farmers who produce this type of crop. We are very open to that, and it's not so much that we have to approve it, but these are the kind of things that we would really like to see in the proposals that you develop. And eventually, of course, we're going to evaluate that. And if we think, hey, this group of companies that are together, they offer something very special to the smallholder farmers, then you have good chances of being awarded the grant eventually. So I invite actually everyone to be very innovative and think of where are the challenges that you see, where are the challenges of the smallholder farmers, and around that, together with what we have presented, try to build a consortium and a business plan to address that, and that's the smaller farmers get access to that service and can improve their income, whereas the consortium also earns their money.
Okay, thank you, Sanda, for that feedback. Okay, so I see there are no more hands from participants. So I'll quickly share my screen and reiterate some of the steps that Sanda mentioned in his presentation on the consortia program. So from after this meeting, we are going to launch the call for proposals. And Reginald, can you give us a highlight of the places where people should look out for the call?
I hope their email inbox.
Yes, surely email inbox. So fortunately, we have your email. So that's one point you send the call to. So the call will be published on AICCRA's website. That yes, and it will be disseminated or distributed by our newsletters, your emails. We've also been in touch with Impact Hub and the AICCRA Institute for Innovation and MEST. So we also send the call through their newsletters, and also on AICCRA social media, you see it all over. Yes. So, but definitely because you joined the call, you have it in your emails. Yes, in other places. Thank you.
So thank you so much. So the call will be out next week, and then we are hoping that you would further disseminate the calls or alert some strategic actors to also have a look at the call. And then on July 18th, we are organizing a matchmaking event. We would also keep this event in the call so that you don't lose track of it. And for those of us that we have your emails, we would send you invitations again for the matchmaking event. It's an in-person event, likely would happen in Accra. Then we would have that matchmaking event before the deadline for the submission of the proposals, because we want that matchmaking event to really fine-tune the ideas that the various consortia have, and then really make sure that actors that are key in delivering a bundled solution are really speaking with each other and fine-tuning their ideas. So the deadline for the submission of proposal comes off at August 31st. That's like some 5-6 weeks after the matchmaking event. We believe that's quite some good time to really get the proposal in place. And then we'll take just a couple of weeks to review the proposals. And so by the middle of September, we should be able to announce the 4 consortia that we are going to work with in delivering the various bundles. And then from then, the consortia would go ahead to work on a business plan with a lot of technical assistance from the thematic leads, but also the AICCRA global team. We have some expertise on these things. So would encourage the thematic leads to be working with the consortia to have early drafts of the business proposals, the business plan, so that some members within the AICCRA team can already look at it. And then we are hoping that by the end of this year, before we go into Christmas break, we would have signed contracts with the consortia so that the consortia members can really have fun enjoying the Christmas, and then come back in 2025 January with a lot of energy to start scaling the bundled solutions to farmers. So these are the next steps that you should watch out for. And with that, I would invite the cluster lead, Dr. Ghislaine Tepayoto, to give his final remarks so that we can close this session.
Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us. We highly appreciate, and we believe that your contributions and your collaboration will really help achieve a better Ghana, and particularly improve the livelihoods of farming communities in the ground. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye. Enjoy your afternoons.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.